Genji 2 is an action game which is based on Japanese history. Being based on history, the stages of the game will also be based on famous battles which actually took place in ancient Japan. So here's this giant enemy crab.
Did you guys hear some of the latest Inzoi news?
I don't know what is that?
Sim competitor.
Yeah, it's a game they're making to compete with The Sims. It's the life simulator.
No.
They had
What's up?
They had some sad news. They had to limit your house to only 30 floors. You only have 30 floors in your house.
Oh, that's just like real life.
I know, dude. It's terrible. What am I supposed to do?
I know. The floor dedicated to my popsicles is... I have to cut that out, I guess.
Didn't you say that like it just looked like more and more you saw of it, it's more and more like you're just watching things happen?
I don't know. It's a very weird game. Like it feels so involved. Like way more than The Sims is. This is kind of my like I will never play this. This looks like it's way too much.
What do you mean involved? Like RimWorld involved or like?
Yeah, like you gotta like walk down the street and like you can design the streets that are around your house and like you're creating the shops and you go shopping and it's like, man,
that's for the architects of the town to decide. I just want to have a sim family. Let me build my house. Everybody else can decide the town.
I mean, I don't know if you have to or not. It's just like it's a very in-depth game. I think it's definitely going to be interesting, but it does not seem as kind of casual as The Sims is. And, you know, saying that, I know that you can go super in depth with The Sims, but, you know, it's just, there's a lot going on.
The last thing I remember watching anything on The Sims is just watching like modded plays or a bunch of goofy shit happening.
I've thought about checking out The Sims again, but it just seems like so much. And then also the amount of DLC you'd have to purchase.
It's insane.
That's too much. I like the other one where you like become a mad scientist and go to work every day. And
Sims 2, dude. The Sims 2.
I'm thinking it was Sims 2 or 3 that I played where you just kind of like the goal was to become ultimate worker, maybe. And it always started off fun, and then eventually things like once you started having kids and shit, things got kind of like rough, I guess.
Wasn't it usually you selected like your it might have been later games, but like your Sims themselves have like life goals you set for them or something?
Yeah, yep. They would randomize like life goals. Yeah,
relates to their personalities and traits and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that was totally a thing. They're actually reporting Sims 1 and 2 to PC, so you can play them again for modern OSs.
That made me think. Apparently, you saying ports just reminded me. Apparently, like they're on GOG, they're porting the first and second Dino Crisis on the PC.
Oh shit, it's coming.
Oh no, you've caught me. I was just thinking I need to go back and revisit my heyday.
Your heyday?
It's part of why I brought it up. I was like, was it like this? Dino Crisis 1 and 2 coming on the PC on GOG, but still fine.
You guys think how long do you think they'll keep up that the like chronicle of video games that they're doing?
I don't know.
No idea.
I'm not
I don't think
actually,
it's gonna last
I'm not
very
even
long.
sure if I know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Isn't it GOG that's doing it, where they're basically keeping a catalog of like very old games where if they're not for sale anymore, they will like maintain them and continue to update them to make sure that they're still compatible
for modern systems? Yeah,
it's them. That they're doing it.
It says here games catalog. Is that what you mean?
I forget what they call it now. It's I can't think of it. Basically, like one large archive that they're doing. It's really cool, honestly. I just wish it's something that would be kind of supported really well, because I honestly don't think too many people care about it. I think it's a very, very small minority that do.
Yeah, it seems like that's what they're doing. Team effort to archive all pages and all that shit.
Oh yeah, the GOG preservation program.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
the one.
Yeah,
it's a really cool idea.
Yeah, I'm looking at Dino Crisis 2, like $12. That'd be less for you
I'm
guys.
gonna have to. I'm gonna have to Dino Crisis again because it's only like an hour and something if you play it. So
yeah, man, they're both the same price.
Why aren't they on Steam?
I don't know.
I want Steam. Put
Or
everything on
Fliz.
Steam.
Or tomorrow, a continuation of one of your favorite series, Hello Kitty Island Adventures coming out.
God damn.
Welcome to episode 33 of the Giant Enemy Crab podcast.
You had fun with Sanrio.
I am not playing Hello Kitty anything ever again. I did it and we're done. All right. The video's there if you want to watch it. I'm not. I actually had kind of a little bit of fun with it, but I'm not going to let that force me to play more.
But it has 80 hours of heartfelt quests.
No,
80 hours.
80 hours.
I've never heard questing described as heartfelt. What?
Is this an RPG?
It's like some kind of like open world cozy life sim RPG adventure.
Oh,
Huh.
I hate everything about that idea.
yeah,
That
it's
is not what I
great.
expected.
No, I'm good.
You get to make
I'm
your own little
good.
character.
I am Fliz, your host, and I'm joined by this instigator.
But dude, hold on. We got your Peppa Pig OC. Where is your Hello Kitty OC?
And that obviously is Tsun. And then we have quiet as a mouse Strider over here.
Yep.
Pulling in the real work, letting me get things done, unlike these two fucks.
What do you mean?
Today we kind of have a little bit of a thing to talk about. Let me just y'all doing good today? I don't want to pass that up. Is everyone having a good day today?
Oh, I'm having an ecstatic day.
I was.
Oh. So I don't know how I came across this. I cannot remember for the life of me. It's not like big news. It's just something that like I got sucked down into and I couldn't get away from it. I couldn't take my eyes away from what I was seeing. What we're talking about is the quote unquote the real Game Awards, right? And we just watched the 2025 Game Awards, the actual, license. I don't know about license, but the traditional Game Awards, and it's got problems, right? Like I don't hate it. It's not the end of the world. But there's a lot of fluff, and a lot of people don't like the Game Awards specifically because, well, for a few reasons. One, because the voting isn't done by the majority of people watching. It's not viewer voted. Like, what is it? 10% of the votes are actually from viewers.
Yes.
And the other 90% go to the roughly, I think, 100 judges, basically, from multiple countries. And like, basically, they have a breakdown on the site of like who, like from which countries, like which outlets were representing people. Like someone from IGN, Giant Bomb, and just all over the world.
So the general idea that people have is that like it's not actually votes from the people, from gamers to the games. It's kind of like a bunch of devs and publishers sucking each other's dick, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a fun thing to watch, but nobody really takes it that seriously because it's kind of like the Oscars where you haven't seen most of the movies up there, but they're still winning awards. It's, like the terms Oscar bait and stuff. It's all just, it's for the show itself. Right. The other part of that is the presentation, right? We basically, when I go into the Game Awards, I want to see trailers for stuff I've never heard of. I want to see the awards. I want to see little clips of the games that are being spoken about. I want to see the devs come up and accept their awards. I want to hear their speech. And some of the music stuff is okay. I think it needs to be cut back. But honestly, you could like cut out everything else and I'd be way happier with the Game Awards. I don't know how y'all feel about it. I know you guys like some of the music, especially. I know Strider, you like that.
The symphony at the end of the event, where they basically do a melody of everything that's nominated for Game of the Year, is always a fun time.
The flute guy.
Yes,
He's pretty baller.
the flute guy.
Flute guy. I got to give it to flute guy. We all do.
He goes nuts. It's
He
fucking
swapped
great.
an instrument like every 20, 30 seconds this last one.
Dude, he's a multi-classer. It's great.
It's definitely worth watching just for that. But I guess the point is that there's a lot of fluff in the traditional Game Awards, and then they to add to that fluff, it's very similar to the Oscars, where they cut out the things you actually want to see to make time for this nonsense, right? And so I came across this thing called the Real Game Awards. And at face value, the way it's spoken about is that this is the opposite of that. This is for gamers, by gamers. It cuts out all the nepotism, I guess is the word that I see thrown around a lot. It cuts out all the propaganda. And this is just like voted on by, oh, we'll get to it. But it's produced by some folks that used to work for, or I guess owned Screw Attack, the old, I think it was journalism they did, gaming journalism. They had the old show. Did you guys ever watch that?
Screw Attack? Yeah.
I never did. I knew about it though.
If I did, I don't remember anything.
I think I should have went back and watched a video, but I feel like it was very of its time, you know? And I don't even know where to start, man. Like, I want to be professional. I don't hate this, but there's a lot of things that are problematic about it, right? To talk about the award show itself, it's like a 30-minute YouTube video, and it starts out like knowing nothing about it. I clicked on it, right? There's an animation that immediately features like what I feel is a very racist caricature of an Asian person, like right off the bat. There's no music, and I guess the top comment shows that the music got copyright struck or something, so they had to remove it. So it's just dead silence with this like cartoon noise background to introduce stuff. And then it kind of gets into a little speech by the main host and creator, I suppose. And then it just kind of goes into, it kind of stays true to its word of like, we're not doing fluff. This is just going into the awards and the categories and who won. Yeah, I sent it to you guys to watch.
Yeah, I was not really a fan.
What?
It was
1 second.
different.
What intro animation are you talking about? Because that's not what I remember seeing.
Oh, you didn't see there's an intro animation.
Because I thought it was like a parody of what, Jeff Keighley running through like Street Fighter and then some other things.
Yeah,
It is, but it cuts to a guy clapping like little claps, and it's not a very flattering caricature.
No, it's very much so like I said before, it's what you'd see in like Looney Tunes cartoons around the Vietnam War and stuff. Just the big glasses, big teeth, slanted eyes, like not great. Not a great look. Not a weird thing to start off the show with.
It starts off with directly insulting the Game Awards. Like, there's no independence about it. It just insults and calls it bullshit.
I guess, I mean, this is their Game Awards. They are allowed to do what they want. I'm okay, like, that's fine, right? But the vibe that I was left with was this like extremely petty, like smug, almost childish at times. Like, I'm not trying to be insulting. This is just the vibe I got off the entirety of the thing. I wouldn't call it very professional, right? I don't think you guys got any other kind of vibe off. I was just kind of like,
I don't like, to me, like watching it. Well, first of all, I guess like the idea of like having other Game Award shows, you know, just to kind of cut out the problem of, you know, having most of the voting being done by the industry itself, because that's really like a type of issue in the Game Awards that Jeff Keighley hosts.
absolutely.
Totally a valid thing. There's nothing wrong with that. My issue with the Real Game Awards is the whole thing is very hypocritical, and it's very mean spirited too. Not even just like ripping on Jeff Keighley, but some of the awards, they like start going after people, like just game journalists in general.
So random.
That's like insane to me. Like, why would you even do that? If this is supposed to be just about gamers and video games, why are you like hunting down game journalists when in actuality most gamers do not know game journalists at all? Like they wouldn't even know their names.
That was a big thing. I was like, this seems so like this is like such a small sphere. You know what I'm saying? Like this is such a closed view of gaming that you're like attacking specific journalists that you don't like for whatever reason. And then like promoting it in this show that's supposed to be like an answer to the Game Awards. I feel like with that initial idea of saying we're going to create a Game Awards show that is an answer to the Game Awards that nobody really likes because of industry, you know, all the stuff you were saying. But then to take it in this like extremely unprofessional direction and have it be so, like you said, mean spirited, it felt really strange.
Yeah.
I don't know an award show should have a category verbatim titled "Shitty Ass Game of the Year."
It's not very professional, is it?
Not only was it shitty ass Game of the Year, which you had special guest James from for Angry Video Game Nerd was on there giving that award, and like I see the joke there, but then like who did that game go to?
Dustborn.
It went to Dustborn, right? And you'll see why that feels gross later on when I kind of get into the background. Like that game is such a small target. If you don't know about Dustborn, it's a game that we'll say the anti-woke gaming sphere absolutely hates and shits on. I don't know a whole lot about the game. I've seen some gameplay of it. It doesn't look very fun. It is, but the thing is that like there's more games out there, as Lionel said to me earlier, than you'll ever play, than anybody will ever play. So it's like this one game that's geared towards a very specific audience that obviously isn't you, you know? And so to just make that such a target when
you're just attacking like developers, like,
yeah, you're just attacking developers, you know?
And what gets me too is on their website, because there's a website for the Real Game Awards. It says this is why the Real Game Awards exists. There's a quote in here. We've all seen it. There's a disdain towards gamers from media and even developers. It's insane. We all feel the disconnect and frustration. So I'm founding TRGA with a clear mission to empower gamers with a voice. And I want to ensure your voices are heard and respected in an industry that often overlooks your perspectives. And then you do stuff like this, where you're like attacking developers for the types of games they make and call them like dog shit. And it's like, yeah, no wonder there's a disconnect. No wonder the Game Awards only takes like a 10% of our votes.
Why would they want to?
Yeah,
why would they want to listen to us if that's who the loudest minority is? Why would they want to listen?
And the other thing that I hate in it too is there's so many like, it's very clear listening to Craig talk how there's not a clear picture of the Game Awards itself, because the amount of like fun is made of for Jeff Keighley is kind of insane. Like at one point, one of the presenters just starts like talking shit about him, saying how he's like a cash grabber or something.
It's weird. Like,
yeah. And they say like, oh yeah, we have 4 games that are being showed for free on our show that you don't have to pay money for, unlike the other Game Awards show, right? Because
yeah,
if you weren't aware, in order to actually have a trailer on the Game Awards that Jeff Keighley hosts, it costs like $250,000 to show it. Like it's around there.
That's a lot.
That's for 1 minute, and it goes up for 50,000 or 100,000 for each extra 30 seconds.
Yeah,
cool.
It's a lot of money. But what a lot of people don't know is that there is a free time slots given to other smaller games for free. And all of the game trailers are shown to Jeff Keighley, and he just has to kind of like pick which one he wants to show. And they are shown on the Game Awards for free. They are not charged for it. So even like that is just a false criticism, because, you know, they do that too. Like It's like
I like how mad you are about this. I thought I was going to be the only one who was like,
No.
what the fuck is happening?
like it's okay to be angry at the Game Awards. There's totally some truth to the criticism that it gets, but you have to be correct. You can't just like make all these assumptions and be mad about stuff that isn't false. And also there's just, the Player's Voice Award in general, which is made up of like 100% public opinion.
Yeah. Speaking of the awards, Jacob, you had some of those written down.
Yeah, I have a bunch of the awards, but I want to plug something here because I think it's a good. So during the Real Game Awards, how they had the I don't know if anyone watched it all the way through besides me and Flit.
I did, absolutely.
But the trailers they showed off, I think 4 games, right?
Yeah.
They didn't ask permission for all of those.
No?
Really?
When they did,
Yeah, not at all.
when they did Celico's trailer, they had never talked to the dev. The dev found out the trailer was featured either during the show or after. And they have stated that they said they don't want to be associated with it and they would rather sell less copies than be associated with this show because they were disgusted by what they were seeing and hearing. This is from the devs. They would rather sell less copies of their game than be featured in it.
That's unfortunate.
Well, okay, so that also happened with, I guess we're going to get into some of the controversies here, because they had best racing game and they gave it to
Nightmare Kart,
which is the Bloodborne fan project of like Mario Kart with Bloodborne characters, which is free, by the way, on Steam, right?
Mhm.
The creator of that is trans, and during the show, same kind of thing. I believe they were getting a whole bunch of messages like, this is what these people are, who you let your product be lent out to. And it's funny that they basically had an even more violent reaction to it, saying basically, fuck you, I don't want my product here, take the award back, don't talk about me ever again. And that became like so I've went to the Craig and some of the other people, Smash JT. I don't want to get, man, I don't even know if I'm supposed to say names anyway. And I went and checked out a lot of the Twitters of the people who are parts of this show, the creator, and the fight back against them is very interesting. So the Sulaco dev, they're catching flack, and basically all the fans of the creator of the show are saying, that's free advertising. You're a fucking moron for not wanting free advertising and all that, when basically they just don't want their product associated with people like this.
Yeah.
Right. And then they say, well, we're not even bad. We don't even do anything. We're on your side, and that's crazy that you would think this, terribly of us, as we're trying to promote your product and we were just being nice. And it seems like such a crazy reaction for you. You go and you look at these posts that these guys make. Some of them are pretty divisive. It's a lot of anti-woke. You can tell there's a lot of politics.
Who is these guys?
Yeah, are you talking about?
That would be so the profiles I checked out mainly that I'm talking about are the Smash JT, who is part of this thing, and then Craig, I believe.
Oh, so you're talking about the people that are hosting the Real Game Awards,
The hosts,
not the devs.
yes,
Gotcha.
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Not the devs. No, the devs are well within their right to, not want to be associated with certain people. The hosts, their posts they're not outright horrible, right? They're not like actively saying, we hate trans people, we don't want this in our games, we hate that. They are very anti-woke, but they're not outright spewing hate, right? And so, yes, you can say like, we are not the terrible people you're making us out to be. What we're just trying to do a Real Game Awards show, and that's fine. But then you go look at the comments and the people that follow these posts, and they are flat out terrible people for the most. Like,
Yeah, the community they attract.
the community is like really hateful. I take that back. Not terrible people, but just like the things that are said, like misgendering these devs on purpose and, calling them all sorts of names. Like they seem to really, the community just seems to really hate trans people and anything DEI or quote unquote woke.
What is DEI?
That's a big topic in politics right now. It's basically people getting hired based on color of skin versus.
You mean diversity? Yeah. Okay.
Diversity. Yeah. Diversity hires. I forget the exact words for the acronym, but
it's like diversity, equality, and inclusion, I think.
Something like that. But it means basically the same thing as diversity hire.
I gotcha.
It's just very noticeable that, like, if I had people that supported me who were this, like, they'll send clips to them being like, look at these they're like, look at these libtards kind of shit. Like, that's the kind of nonsense. And I'm sitting here like, video games? Like, where what's like, it just blows my mind that this is where we're at, because you don't like how some video games are made when you're not even the one making the games. And
Yeah.
it's really hard for me to, like, I feel like I'm rambling because it's just such a negative attitude in general over something that's supposed to be for fun, right? So
Yeah.
and it's picking apart things that, like, aren't even for you. When they replied to some of the devs, they're like, in that post it says, yeah, and get $5 off a subscription. Oh, we'll talk about that. But get $5 off one of our voting things using code victim, or using code the name of the journalist that we said was terrible. Or it's just this really
Oh my
petty.
God.
Yeah,
That's
it's
that's
really
terrible.
petty stuff.
So I do want to bring this up because it's kind of associated with it, is because you basically had us watch this, like, so we could talk about it. So I didn't have too much time because it was but while I was looking up this stuff, like stuff about this and seeing what people were saying, is it was impossible not to find that more than one of these hosts, or like the people introducing the award, because they had a different person for each one, there's controversy and terrible things related to them that I have found.
Which is why the devs weren't really, it wasn't about the real award show that they didn't want to be associated with. They didn't want to be associated with the people who are very vocal about their less than stellar opinions and maybe some controversies they've had.
I don't really want to get too much into it, but these were some really bad accusations. And from what I can tell, like, I didn't get to do too much research, but I didn't see too much that was going against it from what I was looking up. So I can see why these devs did not want to be associated with this.
Like, that's the thing. Like, to kind of like be fair to them, the creators of the Real Game Awards, it's definitely a challenge that they'd have, where if they're trying to do this Game Awards and their following is one that has like this kind of mindset, it's not necessarily their fault that this is how the community that already follows them would respond to it, right? That's just unfortunate. But at the same time, they can't be doing what they're doing, where they're offering coupons if they go, like, if they basically advertise and support like all these people that they're basically like shitting on and hunting down. Like, you can't be both.
No,
That's terrible.
yeah, and like I said, a lot of the Twitter posts that I saw are very aggressive, very attacking on a lot of, like, there's beef between quite a few of these people and journalists. And it just seems like they're starting shit all the time. God.
You know, if we want to get it, I guess I can ask this question. Do you guys think that woke is a issue in video games? Do you think it's a problem?
I was going to ask the same question towards the end, but
Kind of, because these people, I think, make it an issue type situation.
as in they choose to make it an
They
issue.
choose to make it an issue, like, because so many it started a whole discourses in, like, some less than stellar things have been said to devs.
Like I was saying before, not every game is for you, you know? And honestly, I've never had a game ruined because I had too many gender choices to pick. Like, that's never upset me.
I just go with whatever I identify as. I don't really give a shit.
Well, and it's there to be more inclusive. What's
That's
the
point.
problem?
That's the intent.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't, like, negatively impact the writing in terms of like being inclusive. It shouldn't be the defining characteristic for something. It shouldn't hurt the product being there. It shouldn't hurt the product not being there type situation.
Yeah, and there are examples of that happening, you know, with some games that I haven't personally experienced that, but I've seen controversies over games where, like what was that one, Dragon Age?
Yep.
Like people got mad at some of the writing. They thought it was a little too ham-fisted and this and that. So yeah, I can see where people might get frustrated with that, but it's such a hill to die on.
Yeah. Like to me, I find the whole woke in video games, it's just a made up problem. And it's also, it's a classification that should not exist. And it's just one that we just have kind of created. Because at the end of the day, if it was really such a problem, it wouldn't exist because no one would buy the product. Right. That, like, just hands off. Like that is just like, no one would buy it if people didn't want to.
I was gonna say, because like it kind of feels like the only reason it's a supposed problem that exists is because of the people that have a problem with it. If you know what I mean when I say that, like,
right? Yeah, that's what we were saying.
Yeah, if no one gave a shit, then it wouldn't be that big of a deal in the first place. No one would care. Like.
Yeah, and on top of that, we're just attaching labels to something that actually is the problem. The problem isn't that it's ham-fisted, like woke writing. It's just bad writing. That's the problem. Like bad writing is bad writing. That's all it is. It totally exists. It can totally be a thing.
Yeah, the problem is they're tying that to it.
Yes, that is the issue. Like having politics in video games has always been a thing. It's for years and years. It's nothing new. And even like they've been beloved games too, have been focused on like politics of their time. It's not. And, one of the current politics we have is, DEI is a very large topic.
Yeah, we're very centered on race and sex and gender for I mean, in my opinion, just to divide the masses, but it's so small. And, just to think like most games have bad writing. Like, I'm just going to say that most games are not written with the same degree of quality that a book or even a movie would be most of the time.
Yeah.
But, if we're also going to consider games an art form, which I do, like, why are we trying to censor people's ideas? Why are we trying to tell people what they can and can't and shouldn't make? Especially when there's so much to look at. It's really, it cheapens everything to look at it like that.
Right. And the other thing you have to keep in mind too, for why this is kind of a, I guess, cool problem in video games, is one of the ideas is just because this kind of political, I guess if you want to call it political, message is newer. Not everyone knows how to write it into video games. That's why it's done poorly. It's just difficult because it's hard to find inspiration to do it. In comparison to other games that do other political stances, like Final Fantasy VII, and their kind of like anti-corporate messages that they have in that game. And that's like a beloved game. Everyone loves Final Fantasy VII so much.
I do very much enjoy Final Fantasy VII.
But they have like so much room for inspiration from like before their time of similar issues that for this topic is just kind of doesn't exist as much. So it's harder. That doesn't excuse like poor writing again, but still, like, we shouldn't be hunting down these types of games and just like making groups and just calling people out. It's insanity, Yeah,
like, it's a new area of gaming. And to hate it. So to hate on anything new and be like, nah, I just want big titted women and fucking handsome. What's that guy from Uncharted? Like, that's all I want in my games. Is like, we did all that, and it feels like this whole Game Awards thing feels like it's from 20 years ago or something,
Yeah.
It feels so backwards.
Just strange, man.
Yeah, what also turns me away from it too is the amount of money that this asks for. To get into that, if you want to vote for the Game Awards, the real Game Awards, excuse me, you have to pay a $30 voting fee.
Jesus.
Yeah, $30 in order to vote. It also lets you suggest categories and nominate different games and vote at $30. But your vote costs $30, and that's the cheapest price they've already stated that the price will go up and climb greater further into the year we go. So it'll get higher and higher, right?
Yeah.
That is a lot of money to ask for a project that itself says we have no idea really what we're doing. Because if you go on their website, they really just say, like, we don't really know what we're doing.
Question.
Yeah.
Why the fuck is there a voting fee?
In their words, it's to here, let me I want to quote this. It is there are a number of reasons, but some of the biggest include creating a level playing field and gatekeeping our hobby. Every member's vote is valued the same. If membership was free, the opportunity for bot/fake/spam accounts to skew the voting process would be much higher. I'm not looking to make any money from TRGA. This is about action and passion. I also need to build and maintain the platform that everything will happen on and update this dumpy little website. And he then goes on to say he wants to eventually make a physical award show.
It seems dumb to me.
Yeah.
Gatekeep it so poor people can't participate.
I mean, on top of that, I think the budget for this was 30 grand.
That was what they raised. Yes.
That was what they raised.
Oh, so they fundraised. So like they raised money too? And you're still making people pay?
No,
to vote?
like that's what I think they got 30K from these memberships. Because
From
the
paying to
memberships
vote.
got more expensive the closer we got to the awards, is what they were saying. Now I need to talk about this because as from what I've read when I was looking this up. So on their website, they state, here's what the member revenue goes towards. It is not to be a money-making venture for anyone. It's real simple. All membership revenue will go towards producing the show, both virtual and physical, venue rental, A/V travel, etc. So basically covering the cost for all of the guests, apparently, like type situation, and making sure everything's paid for. Reality is that these things cost money. We don't want to take any corporate sponsors and plans for TRGA membership to cover these costs. Now, unless I was mistaken, they didn't have anyone travel out there because all of the like people presenting is like all pre-recorded, including the hosts. Like his whole sections all were recorded in what, like a bar or something.
It was like like an arcade or maybe a barcade. I don't know.
Arcade.
Yeah.
But apparently all of this stuff was supposed to be covered from it. But this entire production did not have the feel of something that cost 30K.
No, it didn't.
Oh, no, of course not.
Yeah, I can't genuinely, like, we can't say that, like, that's where, like, we don't know where that money went. All I know is that if you paid me 3,000, 4,000, maybe even a couple $100, I could make this same thing with random streamers on Twitch. Like, it didn't look like a crazy expensive production. Animation I saw there, that might have cost some money.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, this entire thing feels like this does not feel like a passion project at all.
No.
Like when you really pick it apart and you kind of look at it, like they didn't ask any of the devs if they could use their trailer in their video. Some of their awards too, like one of them was like the best PlayStation IP. One of them was Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade is not owned by PlayStation. They couldn't even do that.
Stellar Blade was like 4 awards, wasn't it?
Yeah, but like what I'm saying is they couldn't even do the Google search to see if Stellar Blade was even owned by Sony, because it's not, right?
Do we want to go over some of the awards right now? Is this a good time?
Yeah, let's go over what they had.
So, do we want to go through everything, or just some of the more interesting things that we found about it?
Well, how many awards did they do?
They did 26. There's 26.
26 awards, and some of them were kind of strange, but some were like the regular ones, like best action game.
But
right?
some of the winners are also strange, in there.
And just so you know, they did this in a way, I didn't hate everything about what was going on. Like they really just went, here's a streamer or YouTuber you may know.
Yeah, which is fine.
They're going to give a little tiny speech, and then they're going to give you some jokes, I guess, and then they're going to read the category and then unceremoniously read the winner. And then it moves on to the next thing. It was very quick, which I appreciate, but now I'm kind of seeing where like I remember watching it being like, okay, this is what I thought I might want, but in actuality, I don't like this.
It's basically the thing that it reminds me of is it's just the same thing that Game Awards does.
It is.
Yeah, actually.
Like,
Yeah.
like this whole thing like of the we want to get away from the bullshit of the real not the real the actual Game Awards, the Game Awards, I guess. And just by the player votes, but it's like going through these winners. They don't show off any gameplay. It's just like overlay. They just basically show you what was up for nominees, the vote percentage, what won, next category. Like I think the in parts for the presenters is longer than the actual of them presenting the categories and the winners.
They don't even really celebrate the game.
They don't.
That won.
So here's the fucked up thing about this. There is only one instance they show gameplay. And you know what category it's for? Best jiggle physics.
Yeah, it's for Stellar Blade.
Yes, because Stellar Blade won it.
God.
But that is the only one that has gameplay associated with it. And it's like, I think some Twitter clips. Like it definitely seems like secondhand footage.
Yeah, the shittiest game journalist one. I was like, is this a hit? Like, what is this? Like,
It's literally the creators of this or creator. They've been beefing with this game journalist over. I wanted to go into it. I just didn't have time to read through all the nonsense. But there's controversy between them and that journalist. And then to like do this thing. Like I thought the way the mission statement makes it sound like it's going to be a professional answer that we all wanted to this thing. And part of me's like, yeah, you can do what you did, right? Like this is your creation. You're allowed to do you're allowed to have your opinion. You're allowed to say whatever you want on Twitter. You're allowed to do it. You're allowed to have the community you have and create this thing. But it just felt so mean. and like unnecessary. It could have been. I think that's where I'm kind of stuck. Is like it feels like if you took the concepts and ideas you had and put them towards something more, I don't know, professionally suitable. I guess something more wholesome. I guess wholesome. And I'm not just talking about like the crassness of the jokes. I'm talking about like a general feeling of like benevolence for gamers in the gaming community.
Just being true to like your mission statement, like that. Yeah. Because that's not what this is.
Yeah.
It's
not.
This doesn't feel like you're ensuring your voices are heard and respected in the industry. This feels like, well, I want to shit on a bunch of people and talk about the games I like, and I'm going to charge people to do it. Like that's what it feels like, and it sucks because, like I said, the idea of having more award shows that kind of solve some of the issues that Jeff Keighley's award show has is a good idea. I just don't think this is it. And, I don't know what they're going to do next year because now, like, we know they had $30,000 to work with to make this and to help with the next one. So I don't know.
Okay. So what were some of the categories and stuff?
I want to go over some of the categories and things that are very interesting about it. Best action game was up between Black Myth Wukong, Stellar Blade, Space Marine 2, Final Fantasy VII, and Indiana Jones. And Stellar Blade was the winner for this category. But then for Game of the Year, it was between Final Fantasy VII, Black Myth Wukong, Stellar Blade, Unicorn Overlord, Astrobot, Space Marine 2, Zelda Age of Wisdom, and The First Descendant. But Black Myth Wukong won Game of the Year. So it's according to their award categories. The best action game is Stellar Blade over Black Myth Wukong, but Game of the Year is Black Myth Wukong over Stellar Blade.
Interesting.
I don't know how that works, but I don't know how that happened. I'm assuming it's just because of the split votes from more games to vote for. But another thing that's interesting is they have a category titled Biggest Cash Grab, which is Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered, Star Wars Outlaw, Tekken 8, and The Last of Us Part 2.
That was a game that I was like, why did I feel like they put I can't even remember if it won, but like, I feel like The Last of Us Part 2 is just in there to shit on another.
Yeah. It's all,
woke game.
like the other thing that's really is throughout this entire award show is some of this stuff is for this year. It seems like, but some of this stuff is just like whatever the fuck they wanted to put in there. Like best sports game, Rocket League won over College Football 25, 2K, something 2K24 game, and Harry Potter Quidditch Champions.
I don't think Rocket League came out in 2024.
No, my Steam library says I last played in 2016. Like,
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is this feels like so. This is not a $30,000 award show. This feels like a YouTube video that a bunch of people made.
It doesn't even feel researched, like thoroughly.
Exactly. Yeah,
Like,
it's just a YouTube video people made for fun. That's why I'm like, you can't charge people all this money and not even do like the basic stuff. Like this is absurd.
You can. They did.
Oh my god,
Like,
I can't even believe it.
But here's another great thing. Best fighting game was between Sparking Zero, Under 9 Birth, and Tekken 8. Tekken 8 was the biggest cash grab. But it's also one of the best fighting games, I guess, of the year.
Yeah.
It lost to Sparking Zero. But like it's in the best fighting game, but also biggest cash grab. Also, all these games with biggest cash grabs are just shit that was in development for a long time. Like The Last of Us Part 2, Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered, Star Wars Outlaw, and Tekken 8. All of those games took time and a lot of money. What the fuck part of those is a cash grab?
Hey, man.
Like,
I got nothing. Man. It's rough.
Okay, and there's also a category titled Worst Bait and Switch, which is between Dragon Age Veilguard, Helldivers 2, Star Wars Outlaws, and Concord. What part of those was a bait and switch?
Did Concord win that one?
No, Veilguard did.
No. Yeah, Veilguard won that one.
Really? I think then, yeah, that's the anti-woke bullshit, man. They're like, you promised us a video game and we got too many gender choices. That's a bait and switch.
Also, oh my god. I want to go. I want to go.
Take some breaths.
I'm so mad. Here, okay. Biggest industry failure. I'm gonna announce them in order of descending like votes. Like what won the highest vote?
This is the one that got me.
Is Concord, Dragon Age Veilguard, Suicide Squad, and Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah, apparently Veilguard is like a bigger failure than Suicide Squad or the other one.
Or Outlaws.
Or Outlaws, yeah.
So Outlaws, where I never saw any clips except bugs. Concord, which gave out a beta and then nobody came back. Or Suicide Squad, which reduced to $4 and still nobody bought it.
Concord was by far the biggest thing, but it's the fact that Veilguard is above Suicide Squad in a failure, and like which is a bigger failure. It's crazy.
This is kind of that thing where I was like, regardless of whether the founders or hosts or whatever like have these problematic outlooks or beliefs, the community within it is like, it's rough to read sometimes, man. And you can see that these like that the one that got me was the worst games journalist, and the vote was like, what was it, 70 something percent for something that nobody really knows. I don't know who those, I know who they are, but like so much of the gaming community doesn't really know like all these folks to the point where they would hate one that much. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think I ever knew any of the people that were in that. And it's just like, this just, again, that is such a weird category that has nothing to do with actual Game Awards.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, is this a hit? Like, this is just them pushing some kind of agenda against the person they don't like or something.
And it is. And the same thing with the games. Like these aren't real categories. This is just, let's hate on a thing. It just feels like echo chamber shit, you know?
Hate on this journalist and then celebrate titties.
So to give a caveat to this, we do have to remember, like, again, what I was saying, the main people that are going to be voting and paying for these are going to be the followers of the people that are hosting it. And from what Fliz was saying, again, it's that exact mindset as most people that are actually voting on this. So is that the real Game Awards fault? I don't really think so. That's just an unfortunate byproduct of the community that they've kind of gathered to help start the Real Game Awards. So, like, to me, I don't think that's their fault. Now, should we have the awards that show best jiggle physics, best husbando, and all this
Oh my
be the
God.
only ones that feature a female presentator?
I forgot about the husbando and waifu ones. I was like, what is
Yeah.
the point of this?
Maybe we shouldn't do that. That doesn't seem like the greatest look to have our only female presentators doing those.
They agreed to it. It's
did.
just when you put everything together, it's not.
It doesn't look great, but it's also their
No.
show. Whatever. It's just however you want to view that.
That's like the main caveat I have to like really dig in is like this is they're allowed to do this.
They are.
But when you put out a piece of content, people are allowed to criticize it and give their
Yeah.
opinions on it. That's what it is. That's how this all works.
Yeah, you do have to say it's not the most professional look. They're allowed to do it. It's just, again, it's a lot to ask for when one of your membership options is almost $1,500. And
Oh, really?
yeah, $1,337
What
gets
the-
you
for
listed as a
what?
sponsor.
Wait. But they said they didn't want any sponsors.
They don't want corporate sponsors, but if you yourself want to sponsor them,
What if you do that and then later on you reveal that you are corporate?
well, that's the other thing too. I was gonna kind of say is actually went and like tried to become a member just to see how are they checking to see if the people that are doing this are not just game devs or corporations or whatever. And there's no check. You just sign in with a Google account. So like anyone can pay for this. There is no system in place to even check who's voting. So I don't know why there is a price point to ensure valid voting, considering any company can just buy thousands of votes, hundreds of thousands of votes if they really wanted to. So when you really think about it, if the Real Game Awards got to the point where it was a competitor for Jeff Keighley's award show, it would just have the exact same problem. Like this isn't any different.
They'd have to change that system for sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
But for how small this is, and I think this is like, it sounds like we're talking about this huge thing. This is like, it's just a YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's just a
Like,
YouTube
it's
video.
not
Just something that was stumbled across that was kind of like, what's going on here?
Yeah, just something we were looking at that like there's a lot going on. There's a lot to unpack.
There
and
is.
I wish I could do more, because like looking at these videos from these people, like a lot of their video titles have like clickbait shit going on with like capitals and not, capitalized words and the click me face that you see a lot. Like I don't know if they consider themselves journalists, or like there's definitely huge, if they do consider this to be gaming journalism to some degree, there's like serious bias going on that takes out a lot of, like I said, the professionalism of what's going on here.
Yeah. I don't know. I was not a fan of it. I wish it was different. I like the idea. I don't think it's executed well. Yeah, that was kind of my take on it.
Yeah, this was rough. This is rough. And then
I feel bad for the devs that are like getting shit on right now, that just because they were on the award show. That's crazy to me.
Because their permission wasn't asked and they were forced into it.
you mean the devs that are getting like hate rated on Twitter by the fans of the the kind of people who will hate raid somebody are, who this is for, which is not the kind of people I would want my audience to be. You kind of, when you're a content creator, you foster the kind of audience that you have. That much is very clear. So if you're a Twitch streamer who talks a lot of shit and hates other streamers, guess what? Your audience is going to go harass that other streamer. You're not completely innocent in all this. I don't even hate, like, it parts of it are like the jiggle physics and some other stuff. Like, I could even see those being incorporated into your own game award show and having it be like a meta joke, a throwback to how things used to be.
Yeah.
And you could play off that really well. And instead what we got here was like, I want, like, on like a bootleg version of Spike TV, I'd see this Game Awards show. It just felt like mean spirited across the board too. It was really, I don't know who we're trying to prop up here.
I don't know either. It's very strange.
I just want to know why Stellar Blade won so many things.
His titties.
But
Yeah.
best PlayStation IP?
Titties.
It's not even a PlayStation IP.
I mean, it's a PS5 exclusive, but
Best action game? Almost won Game of the Year? Like, it was right
Titties.
behind Black Myth Wukong.
this is all the exact reason it won. Titties.
Like, a lot of these people really liked Stellar Blade for some reason.
I have a feeling there would be a lot of talk of Stellar Blade in the podcasts they host and the videos they make, you know, like this is just their audience voting, obviously. So their audience is going to regurgitate their opinions. That's just how that works.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's probably why some of the voting process seems a little weird. Is definitely because of that. I still can't get over the price. $30 just to vote on an internet video. Like, that's insane. I can't believe so many people actually paid that.
The idea that you have to pay to vote on anything is odd.
The thing I want to bring up is, in their own words, why they're annual memberships too on their website. And this is to avoid an influx of people actually in a bad faith during voting period. The last thing anyone wants is a bunch of people coming in for a month and skewing the voting process and then bolting, never to be heard from again.
I don't even know what that means.
Like, that's just how voting works, right?
Yeah, you just, when it's time to vote, you just vote. Like, you can't vote 11 months in advance before the games are out. That doesn't work. Like, that's not a thing.
I wish I had more time to do research. You know,
Same. You sprung this on us like a few
I'm
hours
sorry,
ago.
man.
You're like, watch
It's
this.
just like, because all these people have like serious internet history going on, you know?
Yep.
Not all of it great.
I was surprised to see AVGN in there.
Some people are pretty upset with that.
He's a friend of Craig, right? Like him and
They
Craig.
used to, I think they used to do Screw Attack. I could be wrong there, but they've been around.
something like that. They've definitely worked with each other before, from what I understand.
Yeah,
They have
they're
history.
old friends. So I feel like if this is just, I don't know, man, because I haven't seen AVGN do anything like terrible. Like, he's never been caught in any serious controversy that he didn't immediately. I think he was caught in some he blamed it on his writers. This is just what I remember vaguely for some plagiarism. But other than that, nothing like serious, you know. I wonder how he feels about his appearance on this after seeing the completed project.
Uh-oh.
I mean, you can't, it's too late now. I don't know. I guess that's do you guys have anything else you want to, because the only other stuff I have about it is just like the Twitter is gross. The Twitters are gross, man.
Twitter is gross. Yes. The only other thing is I want to bring up is one more amusing category I found was best value, which was between Fortnite, The First Descendant, Space Marine 2, and Power World.
Oh, yeah, that was a weird one.
Oh.
Power World one, right?
Yeah, Power World 1. But best value, 2 of those games are free to play.
Yeah.
Like, you can't beat that in a value because that's
Yes, you can.
apparently
you can.
It's funny too, because after he said Power World, he's like, good luck with your lawsuit, or good luck with your court battle with Nintendo. I'm sitting there like,
It's already
I
resolved.
was gonna say, I guess.
They already resolved it.
I wonder how early this was recorded then.
Yeah, when did they make this? I'm wondering now.
It's been a while, because I remember seeing some Twitter updates of Craig saying first edit is done. It's like 60 minutes. Second edit is done. It's 50 minutes. And then the final edit is 30 minutes. Wonder what got
That's
chopped.
what's on the cutting room floor.
Jeez,
I want to
yeah.
see the director's cut.
Yeah,
I'll
there was
watch
quite a-
all 100 minutes of whatever was too bad to be on
There was
here.
quite a bit that was cut then. Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, to me, it's very sad seeing this. It's very sad because one thing that is correct is people say all the time that game devs hate their players. Like, that's a very popular opinion that they do not like to be able to play their games. Like game devs hate
That
gamers
feels like a really weird belief though, because why would they be making the games then if they didn't want people to enjoy them?
because they like video games, like making video games. They just hate the people that play them.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's stuff like this where,
This is why.
beginning of the video, we're not going to have any acceptance speeches because we know y'all don't really care about that. It's like
We
do
do
really?
though.
Yeah, like we do. Like these are people.
Yeah, I like to see the devs get what they deserve. Like they're, I like seeing them get rewarded for their hard work as they should be.
Like, why are you making an award show for games, but you don't care about the people that made them? What are you even doing at that point? Like, you're acting like the games just come out of the aether. Like, they're just like, whoosh, here it is, boom. And you just don't care about the people behind them. And another thing that was said too was how the Jeff Keighley's Game Awards don't touch into any actual problems in the industry. The last Game Awards totally did. It was a huge entire segment where we brought up and talked about, like, literally, we're sat down and talked about all the problems we were having with so many jobs lost in the gaming industry. Like that was a serious issue. And I remember we talked about it where we were like, I can't believe they even did that. That's insane. Because that never happens.
Yeah, they had that award for the one guy and everything, and then people picked it apart and said that it was some kind of conspiracy.
Yeah, and they try to do that, and it's like, at least Jeff Keighley has tried. Like, no one else really talks about it. All we ever see is just people getting fired over and over. And the reason he's able to do is because the Game Awards is an independent independent show. He owns it, and that's something he does. To get into like a bit of history of Jeff Keighley, he has been criticized for basically being like a shill and not a true gamer, if you want to call it that, because he's been doing this Game Awards thing for a long time. And you can actually look this up too. There was a turning point in his career where when he was hosting a game show and they had him sat down at like a Mountain Dew and Dorito booth, I think it was, or something like that. And people brought up that like the show is coming more of just like a corporate sponsor rather than a show. And they called it like the Great Dorito Gate or something like that, with Jeff Keighley sat in the middle. And he actually quit the show after that and started the Game Awards because he felt the same, that it was becoming less of a celebration of games and more just corporate promotions. And that's how we got the Game Awards. Like, and I think that's why I really don't like the Real Game Awards thing, because it really kind of shits on some of those efforts and like things. It just paints them in a bad light when it's not true.
Yeah, it's like, if this is for like, is this who I'm supposed to align myself with as a quote unquote gamer?
Yeah.
It's rough. I saw a comment that like made me laugh on Reddit, and somebody's like, this feels like they're trying to make gaming for losers again. I was
Oh my
like,
God.
you're not wrong. Like, this is the kind of
Oh my
shit,
God,
like when
man.
people make fun of gamers, this is the kind of shit they're making fun of. These are the kind, this is the same energy I get when I see clips of people throwing a fit because somebody in their Valorant game is a woman. It's
Yeah.
that same kind of energy I'm getting from this. I'm not saying these guys are sexist directly, but that's just the energy I'm getting.
Just the vibes.
Just the vibe, man. And like some of the comments on the video are like, look at all these, I lost it, but one was just look at all these leftist wokies getting mad in your comments. It's like, ugh. Why are we putting this in games? Why just I can't get over, like, just don't play that game. Obviously, Dustborn was not what people wanted. It didn't sell very well as far as I know, and nobody talks about it fondly, so the game will die and then people will move on from that genre just because there's not enough people who want it.
Exactly. That's what I was saying.
There's no need to just lose your mind over this shit. Like, just accept that like new kinds of games are always going to be released, and yeah, you're not going to like some of them, but it's not the industry shitting down your throat and all these libtards coming after your whatever's make you talk about genders and like it's sad.
I've been hearing that phrase more and more lately, and it's getting kind of grating to hear. Just libtard. It's like, God, you guys are obsessed.
Oh, dude, that's been like the past 2 or 3 years.
No, I know, but like, but it's coming back again, like more and more.
Well, that's just because we're talking about these folks.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, like the Real Game Awards is still just another like very small, very niche thing. Like it's not nowhere near the size of Jeff Keighley's Game Awards. It's just something.
Yeah.
Gaming is still a very niche thing.
To put it in perspective, this had what, 30K views, I think?
Right now it is sitting at 60K views.
Okay, 60K views. The Game Awards,
5 days old.
The Game Awards had 154 million.
Yeah.
Like it is.
This is just a small thing.
Yeah. It's not a huge deal. Again, it's just something that's sad to see, is like hearing about how much game developers hate gamers and how frustrating it can be for them. And then you get projects quote like this with $30,000 backing it, and it's just it just leaves a bad taste.
Yeah, it's tough for game. I do think game devs are like super excited with how how people interact in the lobby in Marvel Rivals. Do you think they're like, this is what I wanted? Like,
Probably not. No.
Probably not, dude. Some of the people we've encountered, like,
dude, League devs took away the ability to chat with people for a time. Like, you can't even, you can't ping people. Like, it's gotta be rough being a game dev.
It is. Yeah. And from just a technical perspective of the amount of skills you need to even actually do game development, the pay you get for doing it is actually much less than if you were to incorporate those same skills into any software design job, right? The amount of like work, networking you have to do and being able to work with vast amounts of people, because you have to be able to work with writers, you have to be able to work with storyboarders, artists, because you can't do it all. Or like if you could, it'd be way less efficient to do.
You could be Stardew Valley dev and just do it all yourself.
But as he stated, he could work on it for the next 50 years.
Yeah. But people that can do that
do.
are very rare. That's why Stardew Valley is like considered such a gem, and why there's not many stories like it.
He's a special kind of guy.
But even for him, the dedication it took to do it, just for his, just for at home, like the faith you have to even make that game, and just knowing I might only make $10 off of this thing, and it's taken me years. This shit's hard. Like it's not easy. The only real reason most devs do this is not to make money. It's really because they want to do it. That's a reality of the industry. That's why it's so frustrating to see so many companies take advantage of game devs. That's why it's frustrating to see, a show like this that just shits on game devs and says, you're not allowed to vote. You're not a gamer. Get the fuck out of here. That's insane to me.
I don't know. Look, moving forward, like, I want to reiterate, I don't hate the concept of this. I think the execution leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
Not even quality wise, but just like if you had this same idea of cut out a lot of the nonsense from the Game Awards and do our own Game Awards show, and really like I said, kept it professional, cut out a lot of the petty bullshit, got like maybe some current stand-up comics to do humor, put some of the budget in that, like, because like I said, this feels like something from 20, 30 years ago. This stuff was DOA. Like we're over this. I don't think certain things need to come back, but that's personal opinion on humor. But Like there's something, there's a gem in here if you want to
Polish
dig
it,
for it.
if you want to polish it.
If you want to polish it, okay? We can totally get rid of all this extra mean-spirited petty shit. Like that's so unnecessary and will honestly hamper it in the long run. But as it stands, like I did not watch this because I enjoyed watching it.
He hate watched it.
I didn't hate is a strong word. I saw a lot of things that were very problematic and I couldn't look away.
Oh, you're in for the drama.
Kind of. I mean, I like a little drama.
Would you say it was like the car crash effect? You couldn't take your eyes away in that sense? Not saying it's a car crash, but like that same effect.
I just couldn't really believe what I was seeing to some degree. Like I'm watching it and then AVGN gets on and I'm like, what are we doing? Like where are we going? Worst journalist of the year. Okay. I don't know any of these fucking people, but apparently everybody hates them.
Is that about it?
I think I hope we're in the clear. I could not talk about it, you know?
Could not talk about
This
it.
might be terrible. This is dangerous territory. From what I've seen on their Twitter, this is dangerous territory, you know? And I don't really want it to be like that. I just kind of, I don't really even want to, I don't know what I want. I just had to talk about it.
Fair
so
enough.
yeah, I guess we're done. You didn't really have too much news. Was there a couple little things? I know Jacob wanted to do some questions, but there was some little blurbs. Gosh, we were talking about them before the show.
Dino Crisis. No,
No.
that was in the intro.
We
I
did
think.
dinosaur porn last week. We're
That's
doing
not
that this
Dino
week.
Crisis.
No, it's a crisis involving dinosaurs. No. I forgot. Maybe I'll remember. All right, Jacob, what you got?
Yeah, what's a good first thought?
Jacob's question corner.
Question corner.
We need a theme song.
We do.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it because I'd be the last one to find out about it.
Oh no, I want you to sing it. You're supposed to sing it for
I don't know it after I sing it.
Jacob's question corner.
All right.
Beautiful.
There we go. There it is.
I'll add some drum and bass.
I like to think we're all pretty old gamers. We've been playing for a while. What are some old school problems that existed in games that don't exist anymore?
Ooh, old school problems. Forgetting to save. That is not a problem anymore.
Oh, yeah, the lack of autosave you made.
I remember my biggest the game I forgot to save was it was a Naruto game where the game crashed and I had to restart and I had not saved in 5 hours. And I load the game back up and so I had not saved for 5 hours and I just took the game out, put it back in its case and just stared at it and just put it away and I never finished it. I was so sad.
You made me think of one of the issues I had was the old GameCube memory cards. Did you ever fill one of those up? Do you know what happens?
No.
Everything just deletes itself.
Hmm.
Because I lost
really?
my entire memory card because it ran out of space. So it just apparently, I guess it formatted itself. I just turned my GameCube on the next day. Bam! All of my progress for everything was gone.
Oh no.
That was a very disheartening moment.
Oh geez.
Yeah, I mean, like little thing. So my first thought was inventory management, but then I'm like, now they make games that are just about inventory management.
I mean, it's still there.
So it's not real. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a lot of little quality of life things, like even something as simple as skippable cutscenes. You know, there'd be games before where you just, if you fucked up, you had to watch that whole cutscene over again.
And then it's also like a 13-minute cutscene.
Yep.
No, I think voice acting is another one. I think voice acting has gotten so much better. It's so much more consistent than it
Okay,
used
so
to be.
that's totally. I mean, yes, it is more consistent. True.
Bad voice acting still exists. Don't get me wrong. But I think it's much harder to find like truly bad voice acting nowadays.
PS2 era games have some of my favorite dubs, and it's not because they're good. They are
Yeah.
whack. The fucking Yakuza 1 dub for the English dub is wild. It has some of the greatest quotes that have nothing to do with the original script. And some of the wildest delivery.
So the voice acting for EDF, like
What?
I can never tell what's serious and like how seriously
It's on purpose.
do they
That
No,
that
it's on
can't
purpose,
be on
yeah.
purpose. 100%.
Okay. Because it feels like, I don't know. It feels like it's a throwback to older games where they would say out of pocket shit, but it was because it was dubbed from a different country and we weren't quite there yet, you know? But I guess if it's on purpose, it's yeah.
EDF is one of those interesting games where because the player base is so fanatic about it, they have to add new stuff but keep the game almost exactly the same at the same time.
Yeah.
Where they all feel extremely similar.
Yeah.
But they add like a ton of new things to give you a reason to buy it.
Shout outs to EDF and when now in modern consoles, it can play the game and blow stuff up and not run at single digit FPS. Because when that first happened, that
Nice.
did not feel like an EDF game. I'm like, where's my slideshow?
The other one that really throws me off is Metal Wolf Chaos. Like I don't know what.
Let's party.
Yeah, like
That's early Xbox.
is that all purposeful?
I
Like
would assume.
who made that?
From Software made that. That's
From
the part
Soft
they're-
made
That's
that.
what I'm saying. And it's not like any of their other shit. I feel like there's like a secret category of games where it's really like Metal Wolf Chaos voice lines and stuff, and we can only they're so rare, but we find them every once in a while. I love that shit,
Dude,
though.
they're always fantastic. They're just fun in like the dumbest ways. Richard.
Michael.
Something about like we have this fully fleshed out product and we put a lot of time and energy into it. Now just fucking go buck wild with the voice lines. We don't give a fuck. Just make it stupid as shit. Like something about that just makes me so happy.
I get the same feeling from that as I do from like Metal Gear Rising, where everything's really well done.
That was the other one.
but
that was the other
it's
one I
so
was gonna
like
say.
over the top and crazy that it's like, this is great. Like,
Yeah, it's like the Crank high voltage of video games where it's like you said make a video game and they made a video game. You know? Yeah, that's all I can really think of for old stuff.
I guess like there's some minor things like bad controls, but
tank controls. Oh my god.
Fucking Armored Core
yeah,
grip.
like tank controls always sucked. Kind of the static cameras, but some people really like those too.
I don't mind them if they're done. If they're done like well, I don't mind static camera.
Yeah, I think that's mostly it. Like for me, it's definitely autosaves. Autosaves is like such a lifesaver. I also remember I didn't have a memory card for one of my GameCubes that I kept at my grandma's house. So there were a lot of games that I played on there that if I died, I had to restart the whole game because it had to load the save that I last did, but there is none. So back to title screen.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, a lot of it's just like quality of life stuff.
Oh yeah. What else did you have?
And what are some of the unwritten rules of video games, would you say?
Don't be a buddy fucker.
Don't stop in doorways? Because the one that always stands out to me that I immediately thought of was the waterfall always has to have a secret behind it.
Yes. Some games
Yeah.
have done that and I get sad.
Having secrets or not having secrets?
Oh yeah, the one that I always follow while streaming unconsciously or subconsciously is like, this is the way I'm supposed to go. I better go this other way instead,
Yeah.
just to see what's over here.
Oh my god, there was a term I used to hear, funneling, I think. You do everything else, and then you go down the path you're supposed to. You funnel yourself into it.
Yep. That's why I couldn't play Fallout 4. I did everything else, and by the time I got to the main quest, the game was like, I'm done. I don't want to do anything anymore. They did too much shit that wasn't even important.
I've done that in multiple like New Vegas playthroughs. I do all the side stuff, and I'm just like beefed up, and I'm like, what's this? What's this weak shit?
Mine was constantly reloading in Call of Duty.
Only Call of
I would
Duty?
always-
I still do that in every shooter. I've wasted 2
That
bullets.
was like the only shooter I really played. I guess I do in Marvel Rivals.
I do in
too,
Marvel
actually,
Rivals
now
I
as
that
well.
try to
think about it.
reload as Hulk, dog. Like, I can't
Reload
stop
your
myself.
Just
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know why. It's always a thing. I remember when I was playing Call of Duty, that was one thing that got me like a little bit better, was not reloading all the time. and walking more instead of sprinting constantly.
Oh, I never did that one. I eventually just got the LMG with extended mags. Like, it's like, if I never have to reload, I'll always be alive. I don't know about that walking thing, though.
Spray down a
That's too
hallway.
advanced for me.
If I am not sprinting, what am I even doing?
Yeah.
I go fast, man.
It's true.
No time for slow.
Other than that, I can't really think of any off the top of my head.
They're probably there. I just can't think of them because I think
I bet I do them. I don't even know.
Yeah, no, you just mean like, because I thought initially it was like unspoken rules between people in multiplayer.
I mean, even those could
games.
exist too. Like,
Yeah. Like in a fighting game, if you're up in the top levels and you see somebody's controller isn't working, you better just sit there
Yeah,
and wait.
You better be fucking polite, man. You wait until they fix
Yep.
that shit.
you give them an indiscriminate amount of time, but if they run out, it's over.
You know why? Because there's no worse feeling than having that round one, realizing their controller's unplugged or they're not there, winning that first round, and then they come back to the game and they whoop your ass. You deserve to get flamed for that kind of shit.
I've seen things like that in high rank like Overwatch games too, where if they found that one of the players there was a cheater, both teams would just stop playing. That way it's a draw.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, I saw that was the thing too. It's not because I remember seeing that for the first time because they thought that a Widowmaker player, a streamer, was cheating, and he wasn't. He was just really good. But that's what they did, is they just both teams just stopped playing until it became a draw.
Well, that's much more than I'd expect out of the Overwatch community. From my days of playing, nah.
Let me think. Wasn't there a point in time? What was the Widow player? Was it like I think his name was Kefri?
Yeah,
Were they,
Kefri?
like did it reach a point where Widow was so oppressive that no one would play with Kefri? They didn't want to play against him or with them
Possible. Yeah, I could
because
definitely
you
see
just
it.
like he'd make the game unfun for them.
It's really good.
Yeah, I've noticed. I guess this isn't the same thing, but like, let's say we're queued up in League. I can see that happening because we'll be queued up in League, not recently, but with people that are way better than us, and they're just stomping the whole game, and it doesn't feel good to win that way either.
Yeah.
Like it feels bad to lose against. It feels bad to win with. It's how I felt. Now I have different feelings about Jeff and his ult. I don't care so much about it, but even when I win and it's because of a Jeff ult, I'm still like, ugh. Like, I don't care that I got that W.
A recent one surprised me was Marvel Rivals. When you're banning, the other team will tell you who they're banning, and we thought so many times like they're totally lying, and they weren't.
Not once. Not once did they lie.
Not once. Not a single game did we get someone who was lying, and they're just like, no, fuck these characters.
Dude,
Yep.
some of them are such a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy, man.
All right, Jay. What else? You got one more?
All right, one more. All right, this one could be fun. What is your greatest video game accomplishment?
Oh, geez, I don't even know.
Because I know what mine is. And
What's yours?
mine is beating the first 2 stages of Metal Slug 2 without dying at an actual arcade. Very specific, but I am fucking proud of that.
In that fashion, I think actually beating the Simpsons arcade game, the beat 'em up,
Oh my god, I love that game. Though.
I went to the local arcade one. What do you call it? Not arcade, like
Chuck E. Cheese.
fun center when I was young, and I had like $5 in quarters, and it ate every one of them. But I won. I beat that fucking game.
I can't think of one, and it's bugging me.
I can't either, to be honest. I'm sure I've had some that I would like consider. I just can't think of what they would
Yeah, I'm
be right
drawing a
now.
blank.
I'm fucking proud of the Metal Slug thing. That's why I always remember it. That shit was hard.
Actually, I have a few. One obviously is 100%ing Hello Kitty and Sanrio Friends Racing.
God damn it.
I even had to
That's
figure
fair.
out a way to work around getting, because multiplayer isn't a thing, and I had to figure out a workaround to get the multiplayer achievement.
This is why we know you're gonna love the new game.
Yeah, no. Let's see, another one. I think hitting diamond for the first time in Overwatch. That felt pretty good. Getting into Celestial with Potemkin as many times as I have isn't something I hate. And shoot.
Hey,
Huh.
you gotta include beating Hitachi, right?
Oh yeah, I beat Hotashi.
Made him quit the game for the day.
He quit his stream. He was not about losing to Luane, and I loved that.
I love that. I was like, I love that you went there, and he's like, "How did you know it was me?"
I even said like, "Hey man, GG, I'm a fan," and he was like mad.
He was like, "How the fuck did you know I was here streaming? Like, how did you know it was me?"
Yeah.
It was a very interesting reaction.
I know one time I went to the movies with some friends, and I actually, I don't remember what happened. I think I might have even been trying to impress a girl. I was a fucking dork. I ended up playing Raiden, but I was playing Raiden with playing both sides. And I was actually doing fucking really well. I remember that. I remember the movie theater it was at. I was like, this is crazy and real.
That's impressive. That game's fucking hard.
Hey, I loved Raiden, man. The purple laser beam and the blue one.
I think the only one I can think of that's like my favorite accomplishment that I've done was with you, Jacob, when we were doing Fatalis and we'd been trying for like a couple hours to do it. And our best run we were doing, just the two of us, when we finally got the music that was saying that it was almost dead, we had a server error and both of us got kicked into our own instance. And we had to 1v1 the last like amount of health of Fatalis by ourselves, each of us. And we both were able to do it.
That was fucking stressful. I will tell you that.
That was like, oh my God, my hands are shaking. Like,
because we literally got the disconnect notice during the final Nova. Like we are running to be safety, and it's like, you have been disconnected. Bash, 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 bash. Because the pop-up stopped me from running. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, and then both of us just silently like fighting our own fatalises and us both being able to do it. That's probably one of my favorite accomplishments. That and also us beating Beasley on the hardest difficulty as well in Tales of Xillia 2. Just because of how stupid my build was. Immortal Gaius.
I do love that also the Coliseum Beasley fight. I would just try to ruin it for you. Because if he killed me with butterfly art, there was nothing you could do to stop the mystic art from slamming into you and killing you.
I know. It hurt. It hurt so bad. That's probably mine.
What's your achievement soon? Yeah, you gotta have one.
I for sure do, but I can't think of it right now.
The Monster Hunter one, I almost feel like I felt like more accomplished beating Elatrion. When we were doing Elatrion at 11 in the morning.
You guys beat something after we'd been up all night working on it, and then some of us had to go to bed, and you guys came back, you're like, we beat the thing, and we're all like, oh.
That was
Okay.
Fatalis, yeah, because we didn't expect to
Yeah.
beat it, to be honest.
That was like, man, what a bummer. Like, I'm happy for you, but also fuck you guys.
And that's how it went too. That was our first time beating it. As we both got disconnected, so we had to solo it for the final bit.
It's funny that like beating bosses in Elden Ring and Dark Souls don't really like come into this list for me, even though they should be, because those are the difficult ones, you know. But like,
Yeah. I'm trying to like. There's the thing with Dark Souls and those games is for me they're more of a war of attrition than any like accomplishment because like I never feel like it can't be done. I guess Radon, like Final Radon, was the one where I was like this might just be impossible because
pre-nerfed Radon. I beat that with I think 11 health left on my.
I died. Like
you traded.
Beating him, yeah, I traded and I died and I got the the little victory thing before I died.
Mm.
But I was able to beat him pre-nerf.
I don't know how interesting this is, but like I remember being younger, I played through GTA 4 like 7 times.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's not really that impressive, but
that's like the roughest one too.
I fucking love GTA 4. I still have
go
fond
bowling.
memories.
I just always remember the driving in it felt really claustrophobic. Like the roads weren't big enough for how the game wanted you to drive.
Everything felt like it was on ice. It's like what I vaguely remember.
So yeah, everything was really slippery.
Yeah, I remember that.
The rough part about this, I'm gonna remember something later on, but I played so many games.
Yeah.
Cheats were fun. I enjoyed the cheats in that game. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're doing like when you beat the game that many times, you start doing goofy shit.
Yeah, I remember one of my favorite things to do was if I was driving away from the place, I would do the cheat that spawns a boat because it spawns it in the air in front of you. So you drive under it and the cop cars slam into the boat.
You had cheating tactics. Let's go.
I played that game enough that I figured out that if you fall off a building and you land on like a slanted surface, it doesn't kill you.
Oh.
So you can fall off like a super high building and land on a small slant and it won't kill you. And I played that game that fucking much, man.
That was a fun one.
Yeah. Could not do the same for GTA 5. I played through that like once or twice and that was it.
I think the last thing I had, like getting over it, beating that on stream, like during the beginning of my streaming career was like a real big thing for me.
We got to go back to Chain together.
No.
When you beat Jump King.
I don't like it. I don't like those games. They make me angry and not happy ever, except when you finally beat them. And I just don't like getting over it was the pinnacle of my bullshit streamer games that I'll ever want to play. I'm good off of those. I guess that's it then. Y'all got anything else you want to say before we call it a day?
I think the last thing was the Xbox Direct that we saw, right?
Oh, I didn't see that. What'd you guys see?
So they showed off the new Doom, the Dark Ages, as well.
Ooh,
Looks
nice.
really dope. I'm actually so hyped for it. It looks amazing. There's an official release date now, May 15th. So that's coming out soon. They showed off some more of Expedition 33 as well, with a release date for that, which is April 24th. They showed South of Midnight, which is a like Southern folktale inspired game that looks pretty interesting. That's April 8th is when that's coming out. And also they showed Ninja Gaiden 4 is coming out in the fall of this year. No specific date. But they're showing off a new character they get to play as a Ninja Gaiden as one of the protagonists.
Real quick, I never played one of those. I know the Ninja Gaiden games are unfair to say the least. Have you guys played? I kind of want to try one out. Have you guys played any of them? I
remember playing one a long time ago, and I remember getting my ass whooped by it.
Yeah, I saw a video of a guy who's like, he was saying that He's just talking about one of the bosses in the game and how people are like, you think Elden Ring is unfair. When this guy dies, he blows up and it kills you. And if you're not blocking for something you had no idea was going to happen, you have to restart everything. Also, if you walk away and you step on one of these invisible landmines that are everywhere that you don't know about, you die and have to restart the boss. Also, if he hits you with this, he was like, okay, like Ninja Gaiden gave no fucks. It hated you.
I remember I played it on the original Xbox. So I was really young when I played it. But I felt like there's no way this can be beaten. That's what I remember from the game. Like this is impossible.
I'll have to try one. Okay, what was your last thing? Sorry, I was curious.
They also remade Ninja Gaiden
2.
Oh, which one was it? 2, yeah. And that's now actually available right now on Steam if you want to get it while you wait for Ninja Gaiden 4.
Also, everything that was out the direct is coming to Game Pass.
Indeed.
So you can play Ninja Gaiden 2 right now if you have Game Pass.
And, well, never mind. I was going to say and $50, but that negates the Game Pass thing. So never mind. It's $50 or Game Pass. No.
Yeah, get them both. Support the devs.
No.
Blizzard's advice: buy 2 copies of every game you own. That way you always have a backup.
Yeah. No.
Reordering games like they're gonna run out.
Scarcity.
All right.
My digital scarcity.
Yeah, man. Run out of bits.
Okay. All right. I guess we're good now. Man, I'm curious. Could be nothing, but I still, like I said, we just had to talk about that shit. I saw it and I said, we have to talk about this shit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I am looking. I'm curious what the next one's going to be.
I agree. Whatever we said this time, there's always opportunity for next year.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say something rude like it can only get better. But there's definitely room to improve.
I'm not demonizing it whatsoever. I don't want anyone to feel like that. And I'm definitely going to look at the next one because, it is still a relatively small event and it deserves the benefit of the doubt. So, yeah. So I'm definitely going to check out the next one.
Indeed.
With all that being said, thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions or comments, just leave them on the video. I don't fucking care. No, I'm just playing.
Oh, damn.
If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them there or send us an email at giantenemycrabpod@gmail.com. We'll be back next week with some actual news, I hope, maybe.
Hopefully we'll be back next week.
Hopefully, yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I hope we didn't commit any egregious internet sins.
True. We'll find out.
We'll find out. We'll find out the hard way. My favorite way to find things out. Until then, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.